Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Unverse Podcast. You get your boy Oscar here. Today I'm doing a solo episode, just going over my time at Level Up Expo 2025. It was definitely awesome, man. I feel like compared to last year, the convention seems to have buckled down a little bit. A lot of the convention was on a different side of the, I guess I would call like the entire like building. We have three different parts of the convention center in Las Vegas. There's like an east branch, a west branch, and a central branch. Last year, it was on the west branch, like all the way at the far end, closest towards the strip. And it involved having to go through a series of like loops and underground tunnels with like little Tesla cars and things like that. And it was an experience. It was pretty cool. But it was definitely kind of a chore to kind of get into the building. So one of the things that they did this year is they moved it a lot closer. Now you'll find that as you were done with your parking and just go right into the convention center, that the main building where they were holding everything, like the exhibits, all the programs, all of it was just going to be in the one singular building on the west side, so closest to the parking lot. It managed to save me a little bit of time getting in there. All in all, the line wasn't extremely long or anything. We definitely had plenty of people and plenty of room to spare. And I spent a couple hours on that first day really just scouring around, checking out a couple of programs when I could. And in between, just really spending some time in the exhibitors hall. I really wanted to get the layout of things so that way Sunday I could just spend some time with my lovely wife going over all the things that we wanted to buy. Getting right into it, a lot of the exhibitors that they had this year, a lot of new things that I saw. For example, they had kind of like a giant lounge type area where they had, it was pretty much like Pokemon trading card and Pokemon video game, I don't know, section. They were able to kind of like segment into like 2 or 3 different lines. So there was a line that would let you go into the trading card portion, where there's like a whole bunch of tables just for people who wanted to do the TCG, like actual cards. And then they have like another line if you wanted to just do like video games. So if you brought your Switch, your DS, whatever, and you wanted to just do some Pokemon battles, then they had a space for you there too. In the back of the little Pokemon booth, they had it wasn't little, but they had a kind of like a shop where you could get things like packs. They had dolls. They had your kind of like make your own evolution hats. So they had Vaporeon. I think they had Sylvie, Eevee, Jolteon. I'm not sure if they had all of them, but those were a couple that I saw. That was pretty cool. They also had some exclusive booths that I did not see last year. They were doing a Netflix booth as a promotion for season 4 of Love, Death, and Robots. So that was pretty cool. They started doing the sneak peek on Saturday. So that first day, I didn't get in line to actually go into the booth, though it was pretty cool to just check out and see. They had like the whole banner set up and all sorts of, I guess what you would want to say like movie trailer posters, but it was for, of course, like a series show. Of course, there was the Crunchyroll booth. That was there last year. Alienware, U.S. Army. So a lot of these things were still there. We might have talked about it last year, but looking at the U.S. Army booth, I was kind of surprised. They're just giving out, I guess, like kind of like Army memorabilia, like go in and get like a shirt or whatever. That's cool. They made you like kind of look through this little waiver form, like to kind of sign and go through. So I was kind of tedious about that. I didn't really want to do that myself. Mostly I was just there to kind of like check out what was going on like the sides and stuff like that. So aside from the competitive games that they had, like Tekken 8 and like Rainbow Six Siege and stuff like that, they had like a little part where you could basically hold some of the guns. Like they would have like automatic rifles and things like that. And of course, there's no live munition or anything like that. But they definitely wanted to like let anyone who was curious enough to want to hold a gun. So that was pretty badass. I'm not even gonna lie, that was awesome. One thing that I did do on my first day that I wanted to give a shout out to is last year, I noticed this too, but we didn't end up doing it. I wanted to give the side quest thing a try. So they had 2 booths there, one in the kind of like the beginning where you just walk into the exhibitors hall, and then another towards the end of the exhibitors hall, more towards the back. Basically, booths called side quests. And the point of the side quest is, just to have some extra fun while you're going around and talking to people or shopping, getting your stuff signed by any of the voice actors that were there. So it's just really just a good way for you to just spend some quality time, kind of getting to know people and like other fellow exhibitors that are there. The meat of it was you get in line and you can do either two factions. There was an orc faction, so if you wanted to be a human that was enslaved by orcs, basically rooting for the orc team, you can do that. That was my team. Otherwise, there was another faction, the human faction, where of course there are human heroes, and they're just trying to rebel against the orcs. And I didn't go for them. So in between, all you're really doing is just going up to them. They'll give you like this little card. There's about 3 levels, and for each level, there's 5 spaces for a stamp. When you get to your last stamp, I guess for like the level that you're on, you were given a special challenge where you had to go over to the U.S. Army booth and do, I don't know exactly how many challenges that they had, but I'll tell you the 3 challenges that I did. My first challenge involved a push-up contest. So I was on the floor with about 7 other dudes, just trying to make sure that I was doing as many correct form push-ups as possible without being the first guy to drop out. Because goddamn, if I was going to be that first guy to drop out, no way, no how. I ended up being the second guy that dropped out. So, whew. I ended up spending some time. It took me probably like, I don't know, 2 hours with all of the missions that they give you. They're not super difficult. Most of them, actually, yeah, for most of them, I was able to just kind of take care of them right then and there at the booth. They involve things like, taking a picture of someone with like a certain prop, finding certain characters like One Piece characters or things like that, or even just having certain people in cosplay, like do poses or things like that. I actually made a list of all of the missions that I had. Alrighty, so my first mission was taking a single picture with at least 3 different Pokemon in it. It was called Safari Zone Field Trip. Pretty easy. I just went straight to like the nearest booth that had all these Pokédolls, and I just took pictures. I got another one after that said Secret Handshake. It says I had to fist bump someone who is cosplaying as V, Luffy, or Saitama. I really looked hard for Saitamas, let me tell you. I could not find a single Saitama cosplayer. It was very sad that One Punch is not as popular as it should be anymore. Not as it should be, or as it is. It's kind of a shitty thing, but with the next season coming out, hopefully that will pick up again. But I did end up finding a Luffy cosplayer. She was more than willing to give me a fist bump. She clearly knew the mission, because I was not the first person that like ran up to her as soon as I saw her. She was very comfortable with helping out everybody with those missions. I ended up getting another mission, Wanted Dead or Alive. It was basically take a picture recreating a bounty poster of your choice from One Piece. So any of the Straw Hats. I met another Luffy, just asked him to just do a quick smile for me so I can get that wanted poster. It was pretty easy. I believe I had one mission that involved having to take a picture with someone that had a musical instrument, which was crazy because there was only, as far as I knew, only one person in the entire convention center that had an instrument. And it was just some girl. She was just rolling around with one of those Guitar Hero controllers strapped to her back. I mean, I give her props for that. She came in clutch. And she, again, knew about all of the missions because everybody was coming up to her to get a picture. That was pretty cool. So with that, I believe I had my first 4 missions done. And then, as I mentioned, I had my first U.S. Army mission, was just to do the push-up contest. When I got up to that next tier, the challenges are supposed to be a bit more difficult, but not super difficult, I would say. Like, it's not impossible. That first one, I had to find someone in cosplay. So somebody had to be dressed in cosplay, but had to use their real hair and not a wig. I think for that, I ended up meeting like a Sailor Mars. So that was pretty cool. The next mission I got was level 20 Cleric, taking a picture of a character wielding a hammer of any type. There just happened to be like some orc statue that was right in front of the booth, and it was like it was dressed up like Kratos. So luckily he had a hammer on him, and I was just able to take a picture really quick, and they were able to give me that stamp. That was cool. Right after that, I got another level 20 quest. This one is level 20 druid. Take a picture of a character who is all or part animal. Surprise, surprise, a chopper happened to be walking by. Two choppers, actually, so I got a picture of both of them, and that was pretty cool. There was a weird mission after that. I'm not exactly sure how they passed the board on this one, but it was basically just asking me to take a picture of myself as if I was putting on deodorant. I mean, I get the joke. I guess. So anyway, my next U.S. Army one, because that would have been number 4 for the second tier. So my next U.S. Army mission was I had to go back over there, and I had to have somebody take a very long range video of me, with max zoom on my camera, which you can imagine would be pretty difficult with people walking around everywhere in front of you as the recording is being played. But we got it done. The Army guys are super helpful with wanting to help everybody, just check out their missions and stuff like that. So shouts out to them. On my last tier, these missions were pretty cool. So I ended up, this one took me a while. Skill check medicine. I needed to find somebody with a band-aid, whether it was, not a band-aid, I'm sorry, a bandage. So whether it was real or cosplay. And it took me a while, maybe this was probably my longest mission by far. It took me probably 30 minutes to look around for somebody, and I ended up by chance finding somebody that was dressed like they were from the Hidden Leaf or something, just some sort of ninja, and they just happened to have this white bandage around their leg. I don't even know if it was really a bandage, but shit, I took a picture and they bought it, so it worked out. The next mission I got was You Can't See Me. Take a picture with somebody who turns invisible or John Cena. Straight easy. I mean, I could have just took a picture of nothing, but I ended up finding Ronnie. So there was a really cool Ronnie cosplayer from Elden Ring, of course. She had the whole working arms and everything. So she would just kind of do the puppeteers thing with the fake arms attached to her real arms, and it was just really cool. The next quest I got was A+ Youngling. Show a quest giver how your name is spelt in the Arabesh language from Star Wars. Ah, man, Jerry, you would have loved that one. That was easy. So yeah, just pull up a calculator, Arabesh calculator on Google. Just type your name in. Pretty simple. The next quest after that, Helm's Deep. Take a picture of a character that lives in a castle or a fortress. I ended up meeting a Sophie from Howl's Moving Castle, and I was like, you know what? It's in the name. It counts. Took a picture of her. Got the deal done. And so my very last mission with the U.S. Army Rangers before I ended up finishing up that side quest is I just had to basically prove when the Army Rangers were founded. October 1942. If you Google it, it's not going to be October 1942. It's going to be 1941 in August. But as I guess the U.S. Army Ranger mentioned to me, it wasn't sanctioned until October of the year after. That was the answer I was given. That's what I gave them, and it worked. The whole point of doing the side quest was you were able to get the little the little ribbons for your badges for the 3-day weekend. So you can obviously show off that you were able to go through each tier. Tier levels, starting from the very first one you get is Orc, and then you get promoted to Raider, and then finally you're promoted to Warlord. So through the Orc campaign, I managed to ascend over to the Warlord level. They do give you a special ribbon for completing your U.S. Army missions over at the U.S. Army booth. It's a black U.S. Ranger ribbon, so that was pretty cool too. For completing the side quest, you were given a couple of pins, so you can just get some free swag just from taking a couple pictures, doing a couple things here and there. All in all, it wasn't too time-consuming, but it was definitely worth doing as I was just going around exploring, just doing whatever. Definitely some cool boosts that I saw in regards to a lot of the stuff that they were selling this year. A lot of new faces and a lot of old faces as well. One of my favorite brands to wear, and I'll give them a shout out, Lazy and Crazy. Check them out on Instagram, man. They are awesome. Their shirts are so phenomenal. So he was definitely there again this year, and he happened to have a design that I was looking for on a shirt, and he had them for hats. It was basically like a Dry Bones dressed up as Luigi holding a scythe, and that sounds a little off kilter. So shouts out to him. Definitely keep it up with your work. That's awesome. I also saw a couple of other different booths. I didn't get their Instagram handle by name, but I can definitely remember a lot of the swag that I saw. One shirt, I have to give shouts out to. There were 2 shirts in particular I even took pictures of. It was a shirt of Shadow the Hedgehog holding a gun, but dressed as like a gothic Lolita. And he had like the one winged devil wing on his back. The front side of that shirt is just like 2 devil wings. And I think it said I love Latinas on the front. Fucking glorious, man. That shirt was like $40 and I should have bought it. They had a Sonic version as well. I didn't mention, but the Shadow shirt was all black with red, where the Sonic shirt, who was dressed like a Lolita as well, but obviously like a white Lolita. So his shirt was white, his outline was blue. I didn't read what the front of his shirt said, but I only imagine it's probably something like "nice cock." It's just so cool, man. I really wish I would have bought those shirts. They were just so fucking cool. I did end up buying a couple of things. I didn't want to go crazy. Last year, I went balls to the wall crazy with how much money I spent. And this year, I just really dialed it back. So, I got a couple pins, patch here and there. And then I think I only really bought like 2 shirts, and that was pretty much it. For the shirts, I did wait until Sunday, just so that way me and my wife can go and check out what they had. We were looking hard, spent the entire time there just looking for Dawn to Dawn merch. Super surprising that there was pretty much little to no Dawn to Dawn merch for how popular that show was. That was crazy. But we did find it. The last shirt that this one guy had, his material was pretty cool too. I'll have to give him a shout out, probably postscript because I don't remember his name. I definitely love the design of that shirt that he had. I want to say it's like one of those like high quality shirts that have like that fade effect on it. So like obviously like the rest of the shirt just kind of has like a faded look, but the color and the actual graphic print is still fresh and looks fucking clean. Awesome. Moving on a bit, I did not end up getting in line to see any of the voice actors. I ended up going to probably just a couple panels. The programs that they had were really cool. A lot of mini events, and then just a lot of interesting programs that they had available. So on Friday, they were doing a lot of things like dubbing your own anime, voice acting programs, fight choreography programs, cosplays, like if you wanted to get into shape, or just how to pretty much like host a cosplay gathering, things like that. So it was really cool. Like a lot of the programs that I feel like were worth going to were definitely going to be on that first day. I did not end up going to any on Saturday, but I did check out what they had left on Sunday. As I went with my wife, we went to one, which was it was like a panel for D&D publishing. The actual program is D&D publishing from play to profit. I enjoyed it. Like I think for a long time, and I mentioned this probably last year when we did this recording, but I'm a sucker for just wanting to do a tabletop game. And I think only Jerry has really had the pleasure of doing a D&D session, maybe once or twice or even a couple times at this point. But I'm like super big on that. I really want to try my hand at that. I think that those kind of things are really cool, especially if like you just happen to meet somebody who just loves it so much that they just want to go balls to the wall and get like an interactive table or something like that. Like that's mind blowing to me. But I'll definitely start from square one. Like I don't mind going to like a game store or anything like that just has like like tables for anybody who's interested in those kind of things. That's definitely up my alley. All in all, I would say that the expo was really cool. It was more than what I imagined it was going to be than last year. So definitely looking forward to next year as well. Oh, one of the last things I wanted to talk about, I didn't spend too much time in there because honestly I just knew myself better and I didn't want to get sucked into it. But at the beginning, pretty much in the entrance when you walk in, they decided to put all of the like the free play arcade games there. And aside from the free play arcade games, one thing that I absolutely wanted to give an amazing shout out to was whoever thought about putting the indie game devs right next to the free play arcade. Absolute genius. Last year, it was the same thing. Like the indie game devs were somewhat there, but I also found them kind of scattered around more towards the front where all of the games were in the back. This year, I definitely spent some time looking around and watching people try these new indie demos for games that were going to come out, games that we saw, games that are already like trailered on Steam or on wishlist or anything like that. So it was really cool. I don't have a specific shout out for any of the games that I saw because, again, I didn't really sit down to play any of them. But I just really wanted to give an amazing shout out to the expo for just really just putting the idea together that, that as you walk right in before you get into the exhibit, before you start buying stuff, like right in front of your face, it's like, hey guys, like we have this game for you to try out and play before it gets released. Like, why not sit down and give it a shot? Like we're giving out free merch, we're giving out cards here and there. Follow us on Instagram. You can, I don't know if they were doing any promotions or anything like that for like people who wanted to like, back in, if they were still doing back ends right there. I'm guessing that might have been a little tricky to pull off, but all in all, it was just really impressive. And a lot of those games were really cool. Yeah, I would say that was really the one thing that came to mind as I was really walking in there. I did see that there was a PlayStation booth. And so PlayStation was selling only 3 items. They were selling a controller, and I don't remember the exact model, but it was the controller that you can basically like take everything out and just re-put in again. It wasn't the Edge controller. It was somewhat of a newer one. Like, it reminds me of those third-party controllers that kind of had like those weird diagonal pieces, like kind of like Roblox or Lego pieces that you can like snap on into the controllers and stuff like that. So that's exactly what it was, right? So PlayStation just like collaborated with some company to make this controller, and they were vending it there. They were also vending Fight Stick. So they had like the whole set with it wasn't leverless either. It was like an actual official Fight Stick for PlayStation. The last thing that they were vending was headphones. I'm not really too familiar with the headphones myself. I didn't really care too much about them. All of them, though, were priced at $150. So I think the controller was $200, the Fight Stick was $250, and the headphones were like $200. So they were all discounted for the 3 days at the expo, and they were all marked at $150. Okay? Along with that, you were able to purchase one, and any one that you purchased came with a keyboard, a mouse, and a desk mat. And the desk mat was actually RGB, so the outline, I don't know how they are doing this now, but the outline happens to have some sort of like LED stitched into it, and then I guess there's some sort of power that you can connect to or whatever so that it just turns on. So pretty badass, honestly. And I'm not gonna lie, if I wasn't a broke bitch, my very first thought would have been to buy the controller, because honestly, fuck all of that. I just really wanted that free mechanical keyboard and the free gaming mouse. I know I'm crazy, but hey man, free shit, and I'm all about free shit. I guess it's not technically free shit because you got to pay for it, but whatever. Don't ruin my vibe. The only other booth that I really wanted to give a shout out to, Arc Access had its own official booth this year. It was pretty cool. They were vending a lot of stuff, man. They were selling like all of the Guilty Gear memorabilia. So like they had keychains of weapons of pretty much almost every character. They were giving out shirts. They were giving out totes, jackets, and stuff like that. It was pretty cool, man. Oh, speaking of jackets, there were definitely a lot of high quality jackets, man. Wowee. There was I guess the only one that came to mind is there was a Soul Eater jacket with Death the Kid, and it was embroidered. So it was an all black jacket, kind of like not a windbreaker, but it was more like a bomber, I guess. You see like the skull and Soul's like little chibi soul thing with his like little hair and headband, just all along the embroidery. It was just like all these different like motifs of Soul Eater. And on the front, you can see Death Jr., right? And he had his 2 guns branded on the front of the jacket. And man, oh man, that was something. I like almost dropped my fucking card on that thing right then and there. It looked so good. By the time that we got there on Sunday, there were none left for sure. I knew that thing was definitely going to sell out first day. Yeah, man, all in all, I definitely had a good time. I did not end up going upstairs and participating in the game tournament. But hopefully that might be something that I do next year. I haven't been practicing on my fighting games or anything like that, so I figured I didn't want to waste the $10 to just get my ass kicked, But that's going to do it for me, man. I had an awesome time at Level Up, so definitely I want to give a shout out and a thank you to everyone there for making my experience this year wonderful. And hopefully next year, I definitely get the opportunity to go back again and see what you guys are going to have to offer for 2026. That's going to be my episode on Level Up for this year. And I will catch you guys on the next one.